So this is where the water's leaking from. And I am at the low point drain. It's soaking the plywood. I can't seem to find where it's leaking, but it looks like it's coming from the elbow. That fitting, there you go, right there. See the leak? All right, I've got a bad water leak under here. It's in this elbow. So I'm gonna cut this line loose. Hope I'm getting this on video. So I just cut that loose. You can see right here where I had to cut it. That elbow is actually leaking through the floor, so I got to replace it. You can see right here where I had to cut it. That elbow is actually leaking through the floor, so I got to replace it. Since that was proving too hard to get to underneath, I'm going to cut it from here and cut it as close as I can. Be careful. I'm going to turn this way, so there's no chance I can damage the red line, which is the hot water. These are just drains when you want to drain your tank. That's it. And you notice this thing is hanging way low, so it doesn't need to be that long. So I'm probably going to reuse this piece as it is. Now that I cut that piece, go ahead and pull it out. And this is the culprit that's leaking through the floor. So I personally never used PEX plumbing before, but I have learned. You see how close those ears are tightened in, and this is the one that was leaking. And try to spin this top one. I cannot spin it no matter what, but this one I can actually twist around. So this is the one that was leaking in the video. So today, I'm going to learn how to remove this clamp so that I can more easily remove the one that's in the camper. And I purchased new clamps and a brass elbow and a clamp tool, and this is what I'm going to be using today to make my repair. So I really don't know how to do this, so I'm going to try a couple of these methods. Notice that band. Looks like I might be able to get under it. Maybe. Probably designed so that I can't do that, especially not with this little screwdriver. was able to pull that off, and it slid down. So I got that off at least. It wasn't too difficult. I could tell that it wouldn't just come off by itself, but I was able to peel that back and it came off. Now, how easy is this going to come off? Because I'm going to be working in a real tight space. Yeah. Might be a little more fun, huh? You may have to get in there and cut it. I have no idea how easy it's going to be once I get under there. Okay, well obviously that doesn't want to come loose. That's a good thing. It's also very cold. I don't want to cut the inside piece because the valve that's in the camper, I want to be able to save it. I don't even want to remove the valve. I want to remind you that I have no idea what I'm doing here. See, one of my fingers are all cut up because I resort to this every once in a while. I'm trying to be very gentle here. I'm not putting a tremendous amount of force on this because, like I said, I've got to be able to do this. I'm trying to figure out a way to do it. So once I get underneath all upside down and behind the camper, I can do this. Well, I can tell it's not going to be easy. Well, why would it? If it was that easy to take off, it probably wouldn't be that durable. It did come off eventually, but that was not what I was hoping for. I was hoping to find an easier way to get that off. We'll go from there. So this is the tool I got at Lowe's. You notice I'm not using a pocket knife. I think these blister packs were actually made to cut your hands for the thieves in the store that try to steal them. Look at that. Look. The key to something. I have no idea what it's for. Close handle. Stop point. Insert gap into jaw. Gap. Gauge must stop at no go. If gauge stops beyond this point, recalibrate the tool. So you're supposed to put this in there. You squeeze it closed. It just barely holds the end of that. It's not very tight, but if it went beyond that, if it actually grabbed it and pinched it, that would be a no-go. You'd have to recalibrate the tool. So I guess my tool is calibrated. All right, I'm going to show you a little bit about where I'm working. This is a cabinet. I pushed up the base here, and under here is everything I'm working on. And way back there on the bottom is a fitting I need to take loose. So you see those two water supply lines? I think I'm just going to take those loose. And then take that loose and just lift that whole manifold out of there and work on it out here. It took a little while, but I might actually have this close to being taken off. Got a smaller knife, a lot sharper. You see if I can cut myself here. I have no idea if I'm going to be successful with this at all. Much sharper knife. Different Different fitting. They're a difficult place to work. I tried to take this whole manifold out, but the water heater is still full. And I didn't think to totally drain the water heater because I didn't think I was going to take the manifold loose. So because I didn't drain this water heater, it's not actually a wise idea to try to take the manifold loose. I just can't get in there like I want to, like I need to. Yeah, this is tough enough on my kitchen table. I didn't try to just pull it off. I kind of have a feeling that's not going to work. But if I don't try, I'm going to feel stupid later. So. Ow, that hurt. guess a sharp knife really helps. Yay. We got it. All right. Now what I'm going to try to do is make this about the same length, because that's pretty important. So that looks like, take these two as close as I can back together, and take this very scientific method of measurement right there. And that's the piece we're going to be working with. Fits in like so. Supposed to go 1/8 of an inch. Close enough. That little gizmo right there until it opens. Supposed to take this, stick that in there. Then you start tightening down. If you notice, that's pretty tight. I believe that's where it's supposed to be. This is the part that's going to go through the floor. You go up about 1/8 of an inch. Put the claw in there, squeeze this part, and then you squeeze the whole thing down until it quits. Once you know you're tight, because the pliers open right back up for you. Once again, you see how tight that is? You see how tight that one is? That's the way it should have been from the start. Before I climb back under there, I'm going to put this sleeve on in advance so that when I get under there, I don't have to fight everything. It's kind of tight. Leave it about right there. And then we'll go do this from underneath. All right. Climbing back under here again. Oh, I'm gonna set the pliers down, or the crimpers, excuse me. should push right over. It did. Let's twist that up to that position. Now we're going to see just how easy this really is. I hope I got that in there correctly. I'm having to go off a feel. Now, hopefully you can see that. It's on there as tight as I feel like it should be. Should have been from the start. But you know, people are going to make mistakes. So, it's kind of a given. It's going to happen. Things like this are going to happen. I think one of the ways that we are judged in our lives is how we handle little conflicts that happen on occasion. This is how I'm handling it. Shove that back down the hole. Now, these might be a little tough to get started, especially because I have to just use one hand. Yeah, it started. Oh, come on now. So I ended up not taking the manifold loose. The struggle was getting that one fitting off. And you saw it was a real struggle. But with some patience and understanding of how it works, I managed to succeed eventually. And you didn't hear any wordy dirds. Doesn't mean they weren't said. They either got edited out, or you just didn't hear them. Alright, now I need to make sure I got these tightened back down. Oh, that one was still loose. Yeah. like I got one left. And it's actually to the pump itself. Wow, that went right on. I didn't even have to struggle. You probably can't see what I'm doing over here, can you? That's all right. I'm having to do most of it by feel myself. Okay. Well, I believe the next thing I need to do is put the valve on the end of that from underneath the camper and get some, oh, this might be enough, paper towel, and you want to clean up all of the water that had dripped from the fittings before. Get everything really dry on the floor under here, so that when you turn the water back on, if you see anything leaking, it'll be something new and not something that was leaking from before when I was actually doing all this physical work. So, meet me underneath the camper. All right. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing under here. First thing, I want to make sure that I'm getting the valve turned in the right direction. So I'm gonna see which way this one. Okay, this one points up when it's open. So I'm actually going to turn that to the side. Pull this over. And make sure you put the sleeve on first. Or slide it up there first, you know what I mean? Alright, I need both hands for that, I think. And now I got water dribbling on me. So I put that up, and you see it's about 1/8. So that is up. I'm going to turn it down just so that I can get in there and work on it. Come on, get out of the way there. Well, I might have to move you a little bit. Well, to the side. Okay, that's pretty damn simple. So I'm gonna put the clamp in there. Now I'm squeezing in a different manner than I was before. Don't have the same grip. There we go. I don't know if you can see it as well as I can, but that is crimped tight. All right, so I think I'm ready to turn the water pump back on. Make sure my feet are clean. climb back up in here. I got my flashlight with me. When I first turn this on, it's gonna have to refill a bunch of stuff, so here goes. Okay. I do not see any leaks. Nothing. Still attached to my tripod. I probably should have took that off. Anyway, looks like I was successful. So now I'm gonna turn the gas water heater on. I have a choice here. If I'm boondocking or out where I don't have good electric, I can actually operate the water heater on propane gas. If I'm connected to an electrical power source, I can actually use electric to heat it. So I put my bucket under there to catch everything. I'm gonna turn the hot water on. I have a feeling I might have some air in the line. That might help with the water heater. I don't want to operate the water heater unless it's actually full. Yeah, that's getting rid of air. There's going to be air in the cold water side too. Okay. The water pump turned off like it's supposed to. That's what it looks like from this side. And see, right now, because that pump turned off, it is sensed that there's enough pressure in the line that it doesn't need to turn on. When I turn the faucet on, it drops the pressure and the pump turns on. So before, when I was working on this and it was leaking, every once in a while the pump would just kick back on again and then would kick back off quickly. That was a good indication there was a leak. And I no longer have water dripping like I did before. So I'm going to go inside and look around and make sure one more time that I don't have any visual signs of leaks, and then I'm going to put the shelf back in. Alright, so I'm back inside. Right now there's pressure on the line. Do not see any sign of leaks at all. So now I need to put this back on. I have a lot of respect for the people that put this in. It's a super tight fit. Oh, come on. this flashlight down. Basically the staples under here. Oh, like that. Kind of expected that to happen. Basically just press this back down. These staples are coming back up. They're showing themselves, which is expected. Not completely sure where this little ball peen hammer came from. Doesn't look as pretty as it did originally. And the shelf is back in place. Yeah, no worse for wear. It's back to its original intent. Maybe not appearance, but the original intent won't care. Turn the water heater off. The water is plenty warm. So I'm done for now. That was a real pain in the butt. But it got done. You know, you don't always think of these things when you're in the moment. But with the repair that I had to do, I still have this elbow. And if you recall, this one is pinched all the way down like it should be. But this one is not. And I can twist this one. You can see that. And I cannot twist this one. No matter how hard I try, I can't turn it. So I kind of wonder if when I found this leaking and I knew this was the source, I kind of wonder if I had the tool already, could I have just reached in there now? You know what? I bet you anything that that's as tight as it needs to be to not leak. Now let me see if I can turn it by hand. Nope. No matter how hard I try, I can no longer turn that. So, since I've never worked on PEX fittings before, that's a lesson learned. I could have avoided that entire repair job if I would have just known that I could have retightened that and made it seat, and that would have been the end of it. Well, now I know.